Hey there, welcome to Mikey Mouths Off, and I am your resident big mouth here at CatholicFamilyMan.com, Michael Giannotti. So today's little piece we have to kind of kick things off, it's a doozy. The Princeton Mom. If you haven't seen it, you haven't been paying attention to the news. So this woman, Susan Patton, wrote a letter, Advice for the Young Women of Princeton, which was published in the Daily Princeton. And in it, she exhorts the women of Princeton, the young women, that while they're there, they need to find their husband, find a Princeton man. She laments that, if you don't find a Princeton man while you're there, chances are that you're going to end up with an intellectual inferior individual who won't properly mentally stimulate you. And ultimately you will be frustrated in your marriage, and it's just probably not going to work. Because, if you're a Princeton, you're at this intellectual level, and other people just aren't. And she cites, her own recent experience where she was recently divorced. She is a graduate, a 77 graduate of Princeton, and she did not marry a Princeton man. Wow! So many ways we could go with that. But first of all, we don't want to just dive into attack mode, right? So the woman was divorced. And for that, I feel badly, because that is sad. When two people come together in marriage, it's supposed to be a sacred union till death do us part. It's supposed to be Jesus talks about daily taking up your cross and following him, right? We need to take up our cross. We need to lay down our lives daily, become less so that Christ can become more. Not, how can I feed myself and everybody? You need to be feeding me. All these things. And when we talk about a spouse, it's a commitment of laying down your life, because job number one, and this comes from my spouse, who is not a Princeton graduate, but I still consider her a pretty smart woman. So my wife has said for years, job number one as a parent, fruits of marriage, children, right? One of the fruits of marriage. She said job number one as a parent is to see your children to heaven. Job number one as a spouse, see your spouse to heaven. It's this laying down of our lives for each other, giving up oftentimes what we want for the betterment of another. That's love. Love is, no greater love has any man known than lays down his life. And that's what it is. It's a daily. It's not just this dramatic thing. It's in the little things, laying down our life. So finding someone whom we can share in our faith, come together in love of God, building each other up, laying down our lives. Yeah, will there be joy and happiness? Sure, but what we're striving first and foremost to is to see the other increase in holiness to get to heaven. That's right order. Not, well, I need somebody who intellectually stimulates me. That's the world talking. That's this, you see all this garbage out on Facebook and other social media things where everybody's spouting the latest in new age, me philosophy. And it's, if people don't attend to you or fill you and bring you joy and whatever, walk away. That's not what Christ says. Christ doesn't say that. Christ didn't do that. Christ could have he was rejected, tortured, and crucified. Watch the movie The Passion. You want to see what it was like for him. And he knew what was coming. But he did it anyways. He didn't walk away. He didn't walk away from people who would have been below him, the sinners, the tax collectors, etc. And in fact, because he didn't, he was reviled by the intellectuals of the day, the Pharisees and scribes, the learned ones of the day. Oh, look at him. He's with the scum of society. No, Christ laid down his life. So, a couple of quick things, and then we'll close up. Number one, first priority of marriage is not to marry a Princeton man. That's not to say you might not find a great spouse at Princeton. I'm sure there's some great men of faith there. But that's not first priority. Your first priority, women, men, all of us, if we are talking about marriage, is to find somebody whom we can come together in a mutual laying down of our lives and building up in holiness. We need to be called on, and our spouse should do that. Next, if you're looking at marriage again, you want to look at that person as a potential partner in the raising of children. Are they a person of faith? And then, do you have common values around child raising? Do you think that could be the good mother or father of your children? That's huge! That's huge! Because you need to agree on those things. Then you get into fun, intellectual, they make me laugh, and all those things. And all that's great. But you know what? First and foremost, faith, the very thought of, look, I'm here to lay down my life for another. That's what's going to see you through. That's what's going to give you a long life. Understanding that it's not about me, it's about them. And it's about seeing what's best for them. So, as you're thinking about, so here's Princeton dad, or I'm just college dad. I didn't go to Princeton, I went to Franciscan University. And yes, I did meet my wife there. It was great, because I went to a place where I'd find somebody of faith. You can find people of faith all over. There are many places you can go. If you're in college, go to your local Newman Center, go to Mass, go to young adult happenings, but look for somebody who's going to call you on to holiness first and foremost. And everything else is great. That's my advice to you. Seek first the kingdom of God. With that, this is Mikey Mouths Off I, saying, don't be a Princeton mom, be a person of faith and seek one of faith. God bless, take care, and as always, peace.